Good morning. Welcome to the dish for August 25th, 2025. I'm Go-To-Guy Timberlake, and today's special editorial version of the dish examines GSA's proposal to charge fees for the integrated award environment and why it represents a pattern of agency overreach that should concern every contractor. Just last week, I spoke with a former SBA senior policy official about GSA's proposal to raise acquisition thresholds in a way that would increase the simplified acquisition threshold, but leave the statutory set-aside at its current level of $250,000, and then use a shell game approach to get around statute to effectively wipe out over $4 billion in small business dollars. His reaction was immediate. He said, "What gives GSA the authority to change another agency statute?" And he continued, "This is not normal operation." Some in government and industry consider the administration's common sense fees for the integrated award environment proposal to Congress to be a reasonable pitch. Many others don't think so. Our first segment reviews GSA's plan to charge contractors fees to access systems already funded through existing IAE operations funding sources that currently show a $2.3 billion surplus. In our second segment, we'll examine the math that doesn't add up, how GSA claims a $40 to $73 million funding shortfall while sitting on a surplus that could cover IAE operations for over 30 years. And in segment number 3, we'll look at the broader implications beyond SAM.gov, why the legislative language could put statutorily required public data behind a paywall. Before we get to it, let me tell you about the great work being done by the great people at IT Availability. Chuck Dickens and the team at IT Availability are doing great things for the U.S. government and our nation. IT Availability is led by former senior intelligence community executives who excel at implementing cutting-edge technologies, mitigating cyber risks, and ensuring data integrity. Their expertise spans satellite communications, network operations, cybersecurity, software development, and data center services. If they can empower the intelligence community, imagine what they can do for the rest of government. Contact Chuck and the team today by visiting itavailability.com. In our first segment, we're going to start by looking at what GSA is actually proposing, because on the surface, it sounds reasonable enough. According to their legislative proposal, GSA is seeking authority to charge a one-time fee of $75 to $125 for entities obtaining a new unique entity identifier, and an annual registration fee of $25 to $50 for entities that have secured federal awards. GSA says they're targeting about $40 million in annual collections to supplement agency contributions that currently fall short of IAE operating costs. Now, there are some contractors backing this proposal using what I call the driver's license analogy. As one industry executive put it on LinkedIn, we pay for the privilege of securing and maintaining a driver's license. We pay to obtain a U.S. passport enabling travel abroad. So why shouldn't SAM.gov users pay a nominal fee? The argument continues that if the price of admission to compete for billions of dollars in government opportunities is $125 initially and $50 annually, it's worth it. So it sounds logical. The fees are positioned as nominal. The justification points to other government services that charge fees, and GSA frames it as a necessary path to maintain systems that contractors depend on. The driver's license comparison resonates because everyone accepts paying for government services. But here's why this common sense proposal makes no sense. The GSA version of common sense, well, To me, it lacks common sense when you look at the actual financial picture versus the one they share in the proposal. We'll take a look at that as we get into segment number 2. Okay, so when I say the names Courtney, Martin, Jody, and Maureen, you should immediately think of Global Services, the best resource in federal contracting for winning and activating multiple award schedules, GUACs, and other contract vehicles your federal customers are using. For the past 25 years, Global Services has helped over 3,000 companies achieve success by understanding small business because they are a small business. Global Services has helped companies just like yours win more than $25 billion in federal contracts, and they have the knowledge and skill to help you too. Reach out to them right now at globalservicesinc.com or call them at 202-234-8933 and tell them Go-To-Guy sent you. Now let's talk about the math that doesn't add up, because this is where GSA's proposal goes from reasonable to ridiculous. GSA states that agency contributions to the Acquisition Services Fund, the ASF, fall $40 to $73 million short annually of covering IAE operations. They say since 2015, the ASF has absorbed $690 million in shortfalls to keep the systems running. That sounds like a legitimate funding crisis requiring user fees. But here's what GSA doesn't mention prominently in their fee justification. According to GSA's own fiscal year 2023 agency financial report, the ASF currently has $2.263 billion in unobligated balances, $2.3 billion sitting in the very fund that's supposed to be short of money for IAE operations. GSA's own financial documents shows the ASF balance has grown 175% from $821 million in fiscal year 22 to $2.3 billion in fiscal year 2023. So if you take $2.3 billion and divide that by the claimed $73 million annual shortfall, well, that equals 31 years of funding, or 57 years using their lower $40 million estimate. GSA is asking for authority, or GSA is asking Congress for authority to charge fees while sitting on a cash reserve that could fund these systems until most current contractors retire. So GSA is essentially asking for a loan while having 30 to 50 times the needed cash sitting in the bank. This isn't a funding crisis. It's a funding allocation choice. The ASF has both the legal authority under 40 U.S.C. 321 and the financial capacity to fund IAE operations without collecting a single fee from contractors. The surplus, which, by the way, will continue to grow, could cover IAE costs until your grandchildren are running companies. So here's what Brenna Coppola-Milner of ORI had to say after participating in the August 2025 cohort of Ethical Stalking for Government Contractors Boot Camp in Bethesda, Maryland. That's Brenna pictured there of the rest of us at that cohort. She described it as being packed with eye-opening insights, great vibes, and valuable networking opportunities, and delivering proven techniques to quickly qualify federal contracting opportunities and work smarter. If you want to join the ranks of our bootcamp alumni like Brenna, take advantage of early bird pricing today for the October 21st, 22nd bootcamp cohort. You can register today at bootcamp.theasbc.org. Folks, in our final segment, here's where this really gets concerning. And it goes way beyond just charging fees for SAM.gov registration. If you pay attention to it, GSA's proposal doesn't say SAM.gov fees. it says Federal Integrated Award Environment Fees. And it talks about anyone that registers to access the information. So the legislative language is deliberately broad, and the document consistently uses Federal Integrated Award Environment throughout, never specifically limiting fees to SAM.gov alone. Now, GSA defines IAE as a suite of online systems that includes SAM.gov, as well as several systems which collect data about federal awards and about contractor or grantee performance. The key phrase in the legislation, services provided by the Federal Integrated Award Environment, uses this comprehensive system designation, not the specific SAM.gov platform. There's no restrictive language anywhere in the proposal that would limit fee authority to just one component. The IAE includes over 20 systems, including SAM.gov, CPARS, the ESRS, or Electronic Subcontract Reporting System, FPDS, the D2D Analytics Portal, and numerous other platforms you can see on your screen right now. So here's the kicker. Much of the data in these systems is required to be public by federal statute. The Federal Funding Accountability and Transparency Act, the Data Act, the Open Government Data Act, the Federal Data Transparency Act, FOIA, and the Open Government Directives all mandate public access to federal spending and contractor information. Yet, GSA's proposal could create paywalls around statutorily required public information. So, we need to watch for scope creep beyond simple registration fees. If GSA gets this authority, will downloading contract data from FPDS require payment? Will accessing past performance information in CPARS cost money? Will using the analytics dashboards in D2D portals require subscriptions? The legislative language is broad enough to enable all of this. This isn't just about GSA. It's about establishing precedent for federal agencies to charge fees for services they're already funded to provide through existing mechanisms. If GSA can impose fees while sitting on billions in surplus, what stops other agencies from following suit with their own reasonable fee structures? The bottom line, GSA is asking for authority to charge contractors for access to systems and to data in those systems that are already fully funded and legally required to be publicly accessible. It's like your local library charging admission while sitting on a massive endowment fund. Folks, that's the dish for this week. Remember, in federal contracting, the companies getting shit done are staying ahead of the intelligence curve. Use what we've served up. Take action, and we'll be back next week with another 15 minutes of insights that don't waste your time. Remember, the person saying it can't be done should stop interrupting the person doing it. I believe you can get it done. I'm Go-To-Guy Timberlake, and this has been your latest serving of The Dish.